Hello, this is Angie Homley-Zabo, your friendly neighborhood art teacher. Today I'm going to show you how to make some simple jewelry with products that most of us have around our home. I'll even show you some ways to get around some tools you might not have. So today I'm going to show you how to make paper beads and how to put them together into a finished necklace like the one I'm wearing. I hope you enjoy. All right, to start with paper beads, the first thing you need to do is cut a series of triangles like these. Triangles in this shape will make kind of oblong beads that you see here in the upper right corner. It's a pretty easy thing to do. The best tools to use would be a ruler and a pencil. If you don't have a ruler, I can show you another way to do it as well. So I'm going to show you on these book pages here. You can see I've already started on this one. All you need to do, I just decided to make inch-long beads, so I measured an inch all the way down one side, started from the same side down here, and in this direction I made my mark. Instead of at the inch, I made it at the ½ inch. Then you go through, connect the lines all the way down until you have a series of triangles, cut them out, and you have beads this size. If you don't have a ruler, you can use anything to make a measuring tool, because all you need to know is whole versus half. So I have this little scrap of paper. This is my whole measurement. I used it up here, made a mark at each hole. Then I went straight down the page, folded this in half, that's my half measurement, made a mark there, opened up my hole, and I was able to make whole measurements going down. And when I line those up, and if you don't have a ruler, you can use any straight edge, so I'll just use this piece of paper. When you line those up, you're going to make triangles. So that's step one, cut your triangles. In step two of the process, we will be using glue, our triangles, and some circular object to roll our beads around. This is an awl that I happen to have because of the metalwork that I do in my home. This is a file that I could use the handle of as well. The easiest thing to use that most folks have in their home is just a toothpick or some kind of very small wooden dowel. Whatever you can find that's got a small round circumference will work. I'm using a PVA glue meant for bookbinding and paper projects, which works beautifully, but you could use Elmer's glue, you could use a glue stick. Really, for this stage, anything that helps your bead hold together will work just fine. What you're going to do is take your round object, figure out which is the front and the back of your paper. So for me, this is the front. On this side, I can see the lines from when I measured. I am going to roll my bead around the start of the tool. I want to try to start it off straight. And then I am going to roll up, trying to keep it even. If it's getting uneven, I'll take a moment, hold one side and kind of shift it a little bit. And then you continue to roll up the length of the paper. After a while, you get the hang of this. It goes a little bit faster. I think it's a great activity to do while you're binge watching your favorite show or watching a movie because it's pretty easy to do. Doesn't take a ton of concentration. And when you're watching something or listening to music, time will pass quicker. When you get to the point where you have a little bit of the end left, what I do is I take and I dip the end into a little bit of that glue, okay? And then I'm going to hold my finger right over the end, and then I just finish the spin, and that kind of spreads the glue around the piece so that it's sealed. Then I pop that off my dowel, set it down, and I keep rolling beads until I'm ready for step 3. Okay, step 3 is varnishing or sealing the bead. So for this, I kind of give myself a setup. This is a piece of beading wire, but you could use any kind of string that you could find that I've strung a variety of the beads on. And then I've taped the end of the string to 2 heavy bottles. You could use 2 tin cans. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that tight across space so that these can move up and down the string. Then you're going to apply a coat of varnish or sealant on your bead. You could use the glue that you started with as long as it's not water soluble. So Elmer's glue, a typical school Elmer's glue, is water soluble. It's not ideal, but you could use it. I'm using Liquitex High Gloss Varnish, which I am lucky enough to have because as an art teacher and an artist, I have a lot of different art materials in my room. My PVA glue that I use to glue the beads would work wonderfully. I have Aleene's Tacky Glue, could work. You can also use things like clear nail polish. You could even use colored nail polish if you wanted to add color to your beads. But I'm going to use this varnish. I've also seen people use wax sealants that would be used on like a wood floor, actual varnish from a wood floor. They all work. But I'm just going to take that varnish, I'm going to brush it on each bead. I would go down the whole line of the beads, apply one coat, and then because my sealant is rather thin, I would apply a second coat when the first is dry. Once I have my coat of whatever sealant I use, what I want to make sure is that there's a little space between each bead so they don't stick together as they dry. That is step 3, sealing your bead. Really important to do because these are worn on skin, and if you don't put a sealant on the bead over time, the paper will degrade. All right, the last step is making the actual necklace. So what I used was some hemp cording that I had, but you could use any heavier weight string like a button thread or something like that. Beading wire, if you had it, works well. Fishing line could work as well. I also happened to have some wooden beads that I liked how they looked with my 2 beads that I chose to make a necklace out of. So one was the letter, the paper, and you can see those here. Another was a recycled lunch bag that I had sitting around. So it's just a paper bag, and then I drew lines in different directions with Sharpies, and that gives me this button or bead. So you can see the little bit of black there. These colorful beads I made using another recycled paper bag, a white one this time, and I just kind of added different reds and different colors. And that gives me these more colorful beads here. You can use magazine page, scrapbooking paper, old drawings, newspapers. I've seen people use napkins and it works beautifully. There's lots of different papers that you can use. There's also different bead shapes that you can make. There's a lot of great YouTube tutorials on that. But to string my necklace together, I used 3 different strings of the hemp cording. When I got to the end, I knotted it, braided a section, and then I did a barrel-shaped bead here for part of the clasp. So a barrel-shaped bead you make with just one long piece, one long rectangular piece of paper rolled up on itself. And in the other end, I braided a section, created a loop. That loop goes over the top, and you have your finished necklace.